Hello and welcome to this electrical principles training video. In previous videos in the series we considered how DC motors operate, and we built a motor out of Lego to illustrate the principles behind how we take electricity and turn it into motion. And it involved all sorts of things like Fleming's right hand rule and understanding how conductors behave when they're carrying electricity and they sit inside a magnetic field. Now this was really good for illustrating the basic principle behind how a motor works, but if we want to start thinking about how motors work in the real world, we need something with a little bit more oomph behind it. We need something that looks a little bit more real world, and we've got that in the form of this DC motor from Matrix TSL. It's part of their electrical machines kit, and they're very kindly given this to us in order for us to make some content with. So this is the motor, the DC motor. It works in exactly the same way as our Lego motor. It's just a little bit more substantial and can be used for actual work. So we're going to have a look at how this performs, and that really is the key point to this. We want to understand how this motor behaves in the real world when we connect it up to a load, not just when it's spinning freely. So in order to do that, we'll get it hooked up to the rest of the kit and then we'll analyse its behaviour and performance. However, to analyse the behaviour of the motor when it's under load, we need an additional piece of equipment, and that additional piece of equipment is this fella here. This is the Dynamometer, also manufactured by Matrix and part of their electrical machines kit. And this is going to do three things for us. Number one, it's going to help us to measure the speed that the motor is turning at. Number two, it's going to help us calculate how much torque the machine is generating by means of this little weighing scale here and a very clever little bit of maths that we'll have a look at. So that just sits under the dynamometer, and as it turns it applies a little bit of pressure on there, which helps us to figure out what the torque of the motor is going to be. And the third thing that it does is it actually helps us to vary the load on this machine, because when we had our previous very basic Lego motor running, we didn't have it connected to a load. It wasn't driving anything. And in the real world, we don't just run motors without them connected to anything for no reason. We connect them to things, and that changes the way that they perform. It changes how fast they turn. It changes the amount of torque that they generate. And so we need to figure out how our motors are going to perform when they're in the real world, connected up to actual machines. And this machine is going to help us to control the loading on this so we can see how it's behaving under different loading conditions. However, just this bit of kit by itself, coupled to the motor, is not enough. We also need the control box, and that's this device here. So this is going to allow us, this is where we'll actually vary the load. So this is where we'll set the load to its values that we want it to be, and it's also where we'll control the DC supply to the motor, and we'll also see how that affects the speed and the torque of the motor also. So we've got our three bits of kit that we need to connect together. So the next thing we'll do is just hook it all up and see how it performs. Okay, so the first thing that we'll do is we'll connect our DC motor up to our dynamometer. So that's really easily done with this bit of kit. We just undo the little sleds here underneath, these little runners, if you can see those there. So we just undo these screws on the top, and that undoes those little runners, which then have little slots that they just slide onto. So that should go on there nice and comfortably. So we slide that into the dynamometer there, and then all we've got to do is just make sure that we get the two coupling parts lined up nice and neatly. Now that's going to join into there. It's covered in this clear plastic so that obviously we can't get any fingers in there and hurt ourselves. So we just need to push that together. There's a little coupling bit of rubber that just keeps the noise down when this is rotating. So there we go, that's that pushed in. And the other really clever thing is that underneath this little kind of box here and on this side, there are little micro switches inside there, which means that if we don't get this installed correctly and safely, then the motor won't actually operate, which is really clever. Just another little safety feature on this bit of kit. So if we just do those up, and we'll soon know whether we've got those micro switches hit or not. I suspect we have, because it looks like we've got a good connection between the motor and the dynamometer there. So that's all neatly done. So now what we've got to do is connect the control box to the dynamometer for communication purposes, and that's just done with this lead here. So we just plug one end into the back of the dynamometer here, and the other end just goes back into the back of the control box there. And then we need to get the right outputs from the front of the control box onto the motor and the dynamometer. So we're going to be using DC PSU 1, so we plug one in there and one in there like that. So this is our DC supply coming into the motor. So we'll plug that in there and we'll plug that in there. So that should now power the motor. And then we also need to connect this device at the end here. So this is the part where we'll actually control the loading on the dynamometer. So again, we'll put a red and a black in that side, and then that just comes around and plugs into the back of the dynamometer there. Now in theory, if we've got this all up and running, if we flick the on switch on the back, we should get, yep, there we go. So it's just powering itself up. And again, we can see we've got power, and we can also see there that we've got the motor connected. If this motor wasn't pushed in hard enough, then what we'd find there is that that green LED there wouldn't be illuminated and the motor wouldn't actually operate. So that's super helpful. The comms lamp isn't lit because we've not got it plugged into a PC at this stage. So that's all good. Right, so let's just check that the motor is actually going to operate. So if we change the DC power supply, if we vary the waveform coming in there. So there you go, you can see we've got that up and running now, so that's good. So we know it's working, and we can just do a couple of quick things. We can very quickly see the RPM on the front there, so this is running at about 1500 RPM, and we should find that if we increase the load that the dynamometer is offering to the DC motor, then we should immediately start to see. So we made it harder for the motor to turn, it's having to work harder now, and you can see that the RPM has dropped quite significantly, actually down to 1100 RPM. And again, that's a very real world situation. As you increase load, the speed will vary to some extent. So we'll just turn that motor down now, so we'll switch that off so it's no longer running. Now I'm sure you'd agree that looking at the kit connected up like this opens up a whole new world of understanding from the basic models that I was messing around with in previous videos. While they demonstrated the principles really well, this is going to help us delve much deeper into DC motors and the way that they function and operate. So that's a really good opportunity for us to be able to do some extra work here, which is really good. But before we can really start to understand how a motor is behaving when it's connected to a load, we need to understand the concept of torque. And that's such an important subject that we're going to look at it in the next video. So all that remains in this video is to say, thank you very much for watching.